Welcome back to day 3 of composition camp. I'm so excited you're back today because I have some great stuff for you today. First of all, our composition challenge for the day is going to be an electric guitar song. It's real simple. You're going to compose 2 measures and then you're going to put it into a 12-measure song, and we're going to learn how to transpose with it. Transposition is a key thing to composing, and so that we can play the same melody but using different notes. Second of all, I have another song for you. It's called The Juggler. Originally a piano piece, we're going to arrange it today for violin and cello. And so there's a lot of ways to be creative with this now, and don't just think it's a copy-paste exercise, but you get to have some real fun with this one too. Also, don't forget about the composition templates. Today's day 3, and I want you to have as much time as you want on this. Have fun with it, and there's lots of ways to explore music through composition. So go ahead and watch the videos now, and then get started on your day. So here is Creative Challenge for day 3. This is the electric guitar ostinato. Now what an ostinato is it's a repeated pattern that happens throughout a song. And usually it's a pretty low pattern. It happens mostly in the bass. It's an Italian word. It actually means stubborn, like it just keeps on going. This pattern becomes the foundation for the song, in fact, and in rock and roll, this is a very, very common way of creating songs. So what we do is we come up with a simple ostinato. In this case, we're going to do a 2-measure ostinato, and then we're going to repeat it throughout a 12-measure song, and we're going to also transpose it. Transpose means that you move the notes higher or lower, depending on where you want to go with it. So we're going to do this for electric guitar. So I wrote out the notes to use on an electric guitar. These are all pretty basic notes. The guitar cannot go lower than this note. It can go higher, but since an ostinato is lower, we're going to just kind of stick with these notes here. That's 2 octaves. That's more than enough. And we do have F sharps in here as well. And then here's an ostinato that I wrote out by myself just to give you an example of what it sounds like, what it seems like. So let's just hear this measure right here. Cool. Now you see how it repeats too. I have the repeat on there so you can hear it a couple times. Also, one thing with the rhythm too, I keep it pretty simple. You know, you could use 16th notes, you could use 32nd notes, but I just don't do that. I like keeping things simple. It gives you a little bit more freedom to create. However, I do use more than just quarter notes, and that makes it a little bit more exciting than just quarter notes. So here's my quarter notes, but then I have this 8th note pattern. Also, one thing that composers usually do is we have ties, and so I don't want it to come on beat 1, so I actually tie it into beat 1, and then it comes on the and of 1, and then I continue on. Now, so that's my ostinato pattern. I was pretty happy with that one after a few times of trying different things. Now here's what I do to make it into a song. Okay, so this is 12 measures, and I put the ostinato in the first 2 measures, and then I repeat it. And actually, I continue doing it again and again and again and again, 6 times in total. Now here's what I do. The first 4 measures are all done with just the same notes that I just put in the 2 measures where I compose my ostinato. Here's what it sounds like. Great. Now here in the next measure, what I do is I take the notes and I transpose them. Now that's why I put them in green, just so you could see. The green notes are transposed up 4 notes above the original ostinato. And so this is actually a pretty easy process. It doesn't take too much trial here. Let me show you in this measure here, for example. This is in the original pitch. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to my tools, and I'm going to look for either this one or these ones. See the arrows? I like the arrows actually. And what I just do, I want to go up 4 notes. So I start on A is 1, then I go to B, and then I go to C, and then I go to D. That makes it 4 notes higher. And so if you look here, I start on D. Well, here in measure 11, in measure, what's this, 5, I actually am starting on D. So that's where the transposition happens. So I'm going to move that back down to where it was originally. And so when I play it here, it sounds higher. Now when I play the whole song together, it'll sound a little different, but still the same, because it's the same rhythm, same intervals that is taking place, and it's how the song progresses. So here, let's start it from the beginning of the song. back to the original. I transpose it one more time, and then end with the original. And then it goes back and repeats again. Usually a rock song has way more than 12 measures, but it'll repeat those 12 measures over and over and over and over and over again. And that's how you create a song. Some good examples of that. One I can think of in particular is Day Tripper by the Beatles. It has a great ostinato pattern, and they just simply transpose it into a few other keys, and then the chorus is a little different, but then all throughout the verse it goes back to that ostinato pattern again. So here's what you want to do. In these two blank measures, I want you to compose your own ostinato and be creative. As you do this, make changes until it sounds good to you. There's no right way to do this, but figure it out and be creative with it. There's no limits on this one. My suggestion, of course, is to keep it simple, but you can make it as complex as you want. The key thing is to make it sound good and pleasing to your ear. Make sure that you're using these notes as you go, and if you stay within those notes, you will be a happy camper here. Then what you're going to do, you're going to take your ostinato and you're going to paste it in to your song that's down here in these 12 measures. Composition, of course, is always a process of creating ideas and then editing them to make them better. All right. So one of the other assignments for day 3 is to do an arrangement of a song called The Juggler by a classical composer from the 17 and 1800s. And what you're going to be doing, you're going to be taking the piano part and you're going to be arranging it for a violin and cello duo. Now, you have to be a little bit more creative, because really simply, you could simply take the right hand part and paste it into the violin part. Take the left hand part, paste it into the cello part. But you get to be a little bit more creative with this one and explore a little bit more about the way instruments work. And so there's a few things you can do with this one. You can use copy-paste, but you can also use the features of our software here to actually write in the notes. And that'll give you a little bit better sense of what's going on with the music, a little bit deeper understanding of how to compose and how melodies are created and things like that. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start playing the melody in the violin real fast. Okay, so I have my melody for the violin part here. It's exactly the same thing that the right-hand part is playing for the piano part. Now for the cello part, I think I'll do kind of something similar here. Now when I get to this part, I'm going to be a little more creative. Instead of just doing the dotted quarter note and the eighth note like that, I might try something a little bit different. Let's see, for example, I might try a 16th note scale that would give some harmony to the violin part. So there we go. Now, of course, I want to hear this back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my menu. I'm going to go all the way down to where it says sound. It's a little off your screen right now. Grab where it says mixer, and I'm going to actually mute the piano part, which is right there. I'm just going to turn it all the way down. Adjust this a little bit, and let's hear this back from the beginning. Okay, that might work. And so that's just one way that you can kind of be creative. Now, another way to do this, let's see, I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to give the violin the dotted quarter note and then the eighth note here, just like it is here. Those are both A's. So instead of doing octaves, I'm just going to do that. And then here, I'm going to give the cello, let's see, I'm going to move that up. And so he's playing that an octave lower, where she is. And that's all within the range of a cello right there. Let's hear that back. Let's play it.
All right, so there's an idea. And so what it can do is you want to continue on and be creative with this. It's really only 10 measures. And so you have some freedom to kind of play around with this. And yeah, don't spend too much time on it. Go on to other things too. But just kind of explore how different instruments sound, how they interact with each other, and how they can kind of mix together. So have fun with this one, the Jugglers.